A ballerina's perspective, from performing with New York City Ballet and Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater to publishing poetry books and mentoring kids and teens. Join us in a weekly discussion with experts to gain mental health clarity and achieve growth in moral consciousness. Give our show a 5 stars, comment, share, and come along for the ride. Welcome back to another episode of the Growth, Grace, and Gratitude podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, Sandra Bailey, a certified RN, Reiki master, and Shamanic practitioner with over 9 years of experience in advanced energy healing. Wow, it's amazing work you're doing. Her work is
Thank you, Aries.
of course, yeah. Her work is rooted in personal transformation. After surviving a decade-long battle with chronic illness and spiritual oppression, Sondra rose from the depths of pain to become a powerful light worker and guide for others. Wow, such an inspirational journey you're experiencing, and also giving back and sharing. I think it's so beautiful. My podcast is all about bringing spirituality and healing to the community, and I think it's so wonderful when more and more people are opening up, and everybody's journey is so personal, it's so authentic, it's so transparent, and I just love having people on to share their piece of the puzzle. I feel like we're all in this big puzzle, and each person has so much beautiful value to offer. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing more.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, yeah, of course. And you do a lot of work with people when it comes to like healing, spirituality, energy. We're going through a lot of energy upgrades now. We are just entering a new season. We're having a Mercury retrograde. If you want to give any tips and advice just to start, like for people who are kind of in the spiritual world, and they are kind of like want to prepare for Mercury retrograde, any tips that you can offer? And what is that even for people who don't even know?
Mercury retrograde is when the energies switch to where they're pushing against us instead of bringing us together. And what I recommend, especially in these times with everything that's going on in the world, we need to keep our energy cleansed. And that's something you can do at home, and it will make a tremendous difference in the way that you feel physically and mentally. So one thing that I teach my clients is the best way you can use crystals, you can use sage. There's a lot of different things you can use, but what I recommend is a salt bath. If you don't have a bathtub, you could do it in the shower. And what you're going to do is wash like you normally would, and then the salt water is going to go on at the end. And if you're in the tub, just take some of that water and put it over the top of your head at the end. Or if you're in a shower, pour the bucket over your head when you get finished showering. And what that's going to do is it's going to cleanse your energy, and it's going to actually extend your aura out about 4 to 5 feet. And that's going to affect the children, the family, and everyone in a positive way.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And when it comes to your own work and becoming more spiritually in tune, how did you become kind of this channeler or this energy healer? What was the journey like? And what was the most kind of exciting parts of it, and also the challenging parts of it?
Oh, yeah. So before my spiritual awakening, I was a nurse in the medical field, and I didn't know anything about anything, spiritual. And I grew up in Alabama, which is a small city. So I never even heard about witchcraft. I didn't know anything about that. When I worked at the hospital, I met a doctor, and he was from Colombia. And what he did is he made me sick. He paid for someone to do black magic to me, and when I got crippled in the bed and wasn't able to work, I lost everything. And a nurse was coming, and it wasn't my normal nurse. It was a new lady, and she was African American. And she told me, she said, "You're crossed up." And I was like, "What?" I didn't know what that meant. I was like, "What?" She said, "You've got a hex on you. That's why you're not getting better." So after that, I started digging around, and I went through like 7 different people, and money just gone, that what didn't get help. And then I finally found a shamanic practitioner, and she's the one that told me all of your sickness is from black magic.
Wow.
So once we found out that, she started doing work and trying to get the black magic off. Well, the Colombian practitioners were doing blood magic, and they use a lot of reptilians. So she wasn't able to deal with them. But before she left, I was like, Claudia, I was like, you can't leave me here. What do I need to do? And she's like, well, I'm going to do a shamanic journey. And I knew that my relatives were Native American, Porch Creek from Alabama. But I didn't know that it was part of my calling, and it was. So once she did that shamanic journey, she found out who I was, what I was here for, and that I also had a sword from Archangel Michael. And so I took the initiation, and then I used the sword on the reptilians.
Wow. Wow, this is very interesting. I know a lot of people also start talking about like feeling this bad luck, and
Hmm.
what kind of signs or things can people kind of take note of to know if they actually are going through this kind of thing you experienced?
Yes. One thing that I see a lot is the car will break down or is constantly got problems. That if they do it on the property, the animals will act different. Like I went to clear a property and a lady had a squirrel on her property in the front yard and it was running around in circles and that energy had upset the squirrel. But the most important thing I see is flowers and plants dying, especially inside the house.
Wow, that's so
And
interesting.
yeah, and then you'll feel a difference. Like if you go outside of your house and you feel pretty good, but when you come inside your house, you feel like upset or angry, you need to check.
And what are
And a
some
lot
things
of
people can do to kind of like protect themselves? Or I know people do like feng shui or like energy work, clearing. What are some
Mhm.
things that people can do?
To protect yourself, if you don't have anything on you, what I recommend is their protection. It's called the armor of God, and you can put that on your home. You can put it on your vehicles, and it works. It works.
That's
And you can
amazing.
put
Yeah, it's also kind of like a call for people to become more spiritual, become more in tune, right?
definitely, because the universe pushes us.
Exactly right. If you're ready to shake off that daily stress, come join us for online beginner adult ballet and yoga classes each week to connect with the flow of movement and the art of ballet into perfect synergy. Come as you are and learn to love your body a little bit more and gain strength and flexibility with each class. All are welcome. Sign up at balletartsmovement@gmail.com. First class free. Televital supports focus, energy, immunity, sleep, recovery, and resilience. Start feeling better today on a cellular level with zeolite, super green juice, micronutrient gut support, and more. Get over 50% off your first order for Televital. Link in the description of the podcast. Sanger Daniel's online seminar promoting a positive message of self-healing with bioenergy work together with live seminars and remote coaching. Use code BIO20 for a 20% discount for our audience. Link in the description of the podcast. Steps that are directing yourself to a
Yes.
more aligned perspective, right?
Hmm.
And you do a lot of connections with spirit guides and house cleansing. What should people do if they feel like you mentioned about coming home and feeling like angry or overwhelmed or irritable? What are some things people can do? I know I saw you post about like candles, candle rituals, and stuff like that. Is that more for like manifestation or also like
Hmm.
clearing?
Manifestation. Now I have the fiery wall of protection, and people will use that too for the candle, and that's it's very powerful. What I recommend, if you come into your house and it feels like that, we need to know number one, is this a spirit or is it black magic? Majority of times it's going to be a spirit. So I'm going to show you how you can clear your house yourself. So what you would do is, in the name of God, I call in Archangel Michael and 777 of his warrior angels to remove anything that's dark or demonic in my house right now, and they will. But I want to emphasize that you must say in the name of God for one reason, spiritual authority, so that no other being can come in and pretend that they're who you're trying to call in. Because if you do that, it makes contracts. And a lot of people don't understand that. So we just want to say that that protects who's coming into your home.
That's really great advice. I think it's also like you mentioned the authority and to kind of the sovereignty of that's amazing because I think there are so many entities around and
Hmm.
it can get very messy for sure.
Oh yeah, and they're waiting. They're waiting for their opportunity.
Can people also kind of be attached from from entities and if people have an argument, could it be from an entity or are people kind of like sovereign beings?
No, there's like when I leave my house, I can see like anywhere from 7 to 8 dark beings flying through people's homes. It's just because of the times that we're in. And so we need to keep it clear. I recommend clearing it once a day because it's that active.
Wow, that's amazing. And also people are talking about how like if their house is a mess versus if it's clean, does that make a difference or doesn't even matter?
Yes. Yeah. So one of the really cool things that I share when I'm teaching people is you can take a lemon, just a regular lemon, put it somewhere in one of your rooms and leave it. And if it starts turning black or moldy or anything like that, the energy is negative. So that's what I recommend to test it. And then I recommend that you cleanse the energy. And you can use salt water or you can use sage to smudge your house. And you were asking about the entities. Yes, there's entities everywhere, and they influence the way you think and what you do. Like all this violence that's going on, that's from the entities. And when they speak to people, people think that it's their voice. I mean, that their thoughts that they're hearing, but it's not. It's yours. But you hear it in your voice.
That's insane. I know.
Mhm.
I It's so weird because sometimes when people are listening to certain programs, it's almost like they become programmed to feel that way. And I think
Mhm.
so much energy that's divisive is also creating this kind of undercurrent of continuation, of separation, and kind of like it could be so, it is so anxiety inducing. And it's also so challenging for people because it's like they have to choose a side. And
Mhm.
if they're not like morally aware of themselves, which is hard sometimes to just become that sovereign, especially
Mhm.
when it's like it feels like there are people pulling at every angle right at you. So it's like how do you even remain sovereign when there are
Yeah.
so many distractions?
Mhm. Most definitely. Just keep yourself cleared, like what I just gave you. Anyone can use that. And then the energy. You're asking me about the clutter. Yes, clutter lowers the frequency. And I know that firsthand because my husband's a little clutter bug. Yeah. And I can feel it when I go into his office.
I know, like, I'm a dancer. I have a lot of like point shoes and ballet stuff, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I have to clean it up, and
Hmm.
sometimes I have to go to rehearsal. I have to teach. I'm like so busy, but then when I clear it out one day,
Hmm.
like once every few weeks, it feels like an energy is renewed. So yeah, it is really
Yes.
interesting once you take the time, and you just have to take like a few. I feel like it takes like a fraction of energy to begin, and once you begin, it's like, oh, okay, you're in the flow, you're in the zone, you're clearing the energy, and you feel like, oh, you feel so cool afterwards.
Yes, definitely.
And I know a lot of spiritual people love connecting with the energy of seeing and feeling and hearing and smelling,
Hmm.
clairvoyant. Can you talk a little bit about that and how people, like, what is your favorite part about it? How it helps you kind of like connect with people? And also maybe how people can connect to that, or maybe they are connecting to it and they're kind of like not sure what's happening.
Hmm. Most people think that seeing is the most powerful. It's not, it's feeling because you can be deceived. So, what I recommend for people is that you need to have a calling card. And this is the way you can do it. You need to know how a deceased spirit makes you feel, earthbound spirit, how a dark being makes you feel, how a light being makes you feel. So, what I recommend for people, you need to know how that feels in your body. So, for me, if I'm around a earthbound deceased spirit, I feel like I'm going to pass out, literally, like I'm just going to fall. If I'm around a light being, I feel energy move through my body, and then I see flashes of light all around me. And if I come into a room with a dark being, I get severe neck pain. So the people that I mentor, I tell them seeing is not the most powerful. Actually, feeling is. Even if you hear, that can still be, there can be, the message is not correct, is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes what you hear is not from a light being, it's from something trying to trick you.
That is so true, because I know there are so many people who are trying to be spiritual mentors, giving
Mhm.
speeches, across the world online, and like you said, their words can be so beautiful and so like spiritually in tune to the ear, and
Mhm.
then but actually something about it feels inauthentic, or there could be something about it that's like not from the highest source of light or goodness. So yeah,
Mhm.
it is very true. It's really great to have this discretion. And yeah, I think a lot of people are also learning through their own like betrayal or experiences how to kind of not trust solely that, but like you mentioned, the feeling. That's such a
Mhm.
great point for people to take note of, for sure.
And I recommend, like, if you're new on your spiritual awakening, find out who your guide is. Find out who your power animals are. And that will tell you a lot about who you are and what your gift is. And then learn to connect with them. I can give an example. You want me to give an example?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
please.
All right. So let's pretend, because he is my guide. All right. Let's say that your guide is Archangel Michael. So we're going to call him in correctly. In the name of God, I call in Archangel Michael to come to me right now. All right. So you've called your guide in. I want you to ask him to connect with your crown chakra. So get into a relaxed state, have the room dark because you can see better when it's dark, and just sit there and ask him to connect with your crown, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel that energy run through you. And then spend time with him, get to know him. This is a very important relationship in your life. In order for you to bond with them and be able to elevate spiritually, the connection with your guide matters the most. And what I recommend is talk to them throughout the day. And eventually, you're going to hear them talk to you back.
It's amazing. It's all part of like this spiritual integration process to feel
Mhm.
more in tune and aligned. I love that. And interestingly enough, today is National Tell a Fairy Tale Day, which is really cool. And it reminded me of like as a child, hearing
Mhm.
fairy tales. A lot of people these days are like so against that. And there's like a shift where people think that it's all toxic because it's, an imaginary story for kids. It's kind of like suppressing their minds. But I feel like everybody has, there are some truths in fairy tales, like the fairies, the magic, the potential of beauty, and like the princess is seeing
Mhm.
beyond the veil. Like probably they have also this feeling of clairvoyance. Do you
Mhm.
have a favorite fairy tale? Do you like fairy tales? What is your take on that?
And this is awesome because I'm the best person for you to bring this up with. No, I never had an experience with fairy tales. Didn't even know about fairies or anything until I was spiritually awakened. And then I thought, man, if I would have watched some of this stuff in the past, I may have awakened sooner. Because when all this opened, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. And a lot of what's in the movies really happens.
It's so true. It's like there are two parts. There is always like the good witch, the bad witch. There's like the spiritual
Hmm.
transformation. There's the trauma. There's the renewal. There is so much about that I think, especially as kids, a lot of kids these days are kind of like very spiritual, very empath oriented. And I think showing them through the fairy tale lens is also kind of opening up their imagination. Like you mentioned, if you would have seen it earlier, it could have activated you earlier. So that's very interesting to see,
Hmm.
for
And
sure.
these kids, they are gifted and they have all their gifts already with them. They're going to be the ones that change the world. I'm
Wow,
meeting little 3-year olds that are soldiers and we're having to get their sword for them.
wow, that's incredible. Is there any advice for parents with these little kids growing up these days on like how they can kind of connect to their child a little bit
Yeah.
more with, you know.
Yeah. Like if I had a little baby, this would what I would do. Number one, make sure they're protected at all times. The mother always has spiritual authority over the kids, even when the kids are 20. So for them, you can call in Archangel Michael and ask him to stay with them at all times and protect them from anything dark or demonic. But also include when they go to sleep. So because they need protection while they're sleeping and traveling in the astral realm. Keep their energy clear, because these babies are so pure that the darkness around here it causes them a lot of stress and sickness. So keep them clear. And you can, I recommend putting a little bit of salt in their shampoo or in their body wash, so that just normally just cleanses them. And yeah, and keep them protected at all times because they're light warriors.
That's so beautiful. You explain that so well. Yeah, that's so true. Especially little kids, they have nightmares and they have all these bad dreams
Yes.
because sometimes it penetrates through their mind, through their life
Yes.
as they're evolving.
And it's really strange that you just said that, because I had a lady that happened. Her son was getting protected. I mean, sorry, getting attacked when he was going to sleep. And I talked to her, and she was like kind of on the fence about the sword. And I said, well, his spirit body knows what to do, but he just doesn't have the tool. Even though he's a little baby, his spirit body is different. So once she gave him that sword, it was over. No more nightmares.
That's amazing. And I know some little kids, like, they have their favorite teddy bear, and sometimes it
Mhm.
actually helps them, it protects them from like bad dreams or something.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So we have a little at the end of the podcast, we have a little like this or that. So I'm just gonna ask you like if you like this or that, would you rather do journaling or chanting?
Chanting.
Chanting. Okay, wonderful. And why chanting over journaling?
It can put you in a trying to think of the word, a
Like
trance. That's good for
hypnotic.
it. Yeah. Mhm.
Wonderful. Okay. Angel numbers or astrology?
Astrology.
And why astrology?
Because I see that's like it's more in depth, and it gives more information than just the angel cards. Because on the angel cards, I wonder who came up with those numbers. That's my question. So yeah,
That's so true. There's like a different interpretation of every number, every kind of
yeah, yeah.
synchronization of them, right? That's very good point. That's a very good point. Podpitch is the first and only software that finds, writes, and sends pitches to podcast hosts from your actual email address. Podpitch will make sure you get podcast bookings, guaranteed. Link in the description of the podcast. ClickFunnels easily build any type of online business and sales funnel in record time, no matter what your product, service, or niche, without any tech design or experience whatsoever. Try the ClickFunnels 14-day free trial. Link in the description of the podcast. Unlock your best life with Soul App. Book a holistic wellness experience with a trained guide and start changing your life today with compassion practices, inner healing, food and diet, and so much more. Tap into a healthier and happier life with the number one purposeful living app in the US, the Soul app, link in the description of the podcast. And morning meditation or evening reflection?
Evening for me.
And why evening?
I'm more relaxed. Like when I'm teaching people to do shamanic journeys, I'll find out like what part of the day is best for you. Some people it's morning. For me, it's late at night because I'm relaxed and I'm finished. So that's why I do my spiritual stuff at night.
It's beautiful, beautiful. Let's see. And is there anything you're working on now that you want to share with our audience? Anything that you're kind of like with your either your spiritual practice or your personal growth, anything?
Right now, I've been working on past lives for people and clearing imprints and vows that no longer serve us. And I'll give you an example. I had a new lady that came to me about her lungs. She'd been to several pulmonologists. No one could find anything what was wrong with her. She went to another energy worker. Well, through a shamanic journey, because I didn't know what to do, I had to find out. I found out that she had an imprint from a past life where she would hold her breath. So that carried all the way into this life. So I've been working on clearing people's imprints and vows that don't serve them anymore.
For people who want to connect to the shamanic journey, how can they kind of start that journey and being more spiritually in tune through that?
Okay. Right. So what I recommend for everyone first is to know who your guide is and your power animal also. And as far as the grounding, you don't have to go outside to ground. I'm in Alabama, so it's warm here majority of the times, but you can ground inside your house. And what you would do is put both feet on the floor, about shoulder width apart. And then I want you to imagine roots growing out the bottom of your feet, going down into the earth. Once they're down in the earth, I want you to hold that position for about 10 minutes. And you'll know, because when you don't feel the energy running through you anymore, that means that you're grounded. And you may also, your soul chakra, your star chakra underneath your feet is very important to have that activated because that intensifies the grounding. And shamanic journeys. So shamanic journeys can be used for anything. And majority of the time, it's when a client has a question or doesn't know how to handle a situation. So I'll go into a trance and I'll travel with my spirit animals and we will go to the upper world to get the answers for the client.
Amazing. That's so interesting. And you have a beautiful picture behind you. Is that a mandala?
Yes, yes, I just got it. I'm trying to become fancier.
That's so cool. For people who are also kind of learning about mandalas and stuff, what is the influence of that? Like, how does it help to be more spiritual or maybe to be more kind of grounded?
It is really good for manifestation. Really good. Some people will put that symbol up above their head, or they'll wear it a symbol around your neck. But it is an old symbol, and it is beautiful. And some people use it for healing too. They use it, which I haven't used it. But yeah, for the manifestation, a lot of people use it.
That's amazing. And I know people do love doing all things manifestation. What is the best way to realign yourself to manifestation?
Candles. Candles, the fire is a very quick manifester. So I always recommend for people once a year, get your road opener, and that removes all obstacles in your life. And then after that, manifest. So if it's money, you do a money candle. If it's love, you do a love candle. But remove those blockages first.
That's amazing. And where can people also connect with you and see all of your content and see if they want to connect with a session from you?
You can find me online at www.shamansandra.com, and that's with an O, Sondra. And then you can find me on Facebook, on social media at Shaman Sandra.
Wonderful. So people can connect with you and see all of your beautiful work you're doing. Thank you so much, Sandra, for coming on the
Thank you.
podcast. Your work is so beautiful and you're so brilliant and such a beautiful, warm heart to share your journey and to share the gifts that you're opening up to and to help people. So thank you so much for sharing your
Thank
gifts
you.
with us.
Okay. Thank you. It was a pleasure.